Folks, my client was so excited at how low the maintenance fees were. I'll explain the whole story. Then I'll get into the latest home prices and insights for condos across the GTA for week ending November 26, 2025. If you want to speak directly with me about your real estate situation, selling, buying, it's really simple. Below this video, in the description, there's a link to my calendar. Click on that, book a time that's convenient for you, and we'll talk about whatever's on your mind. We're looking at condos with one of our buyers. We come across this condo. Now, we've seen a few already, but we come across this condo that was brand new. The seller, the homeowner, the condo owner, just closed. They had bought it pre-construction. They just closed, and immediately this unit is up for sale. So theoretically, this is a brand new unit, brand new building, and it's up for sale. So we go see this. It's a decent size, 770 square feet. We're looking at it. We're looking at a bunch of the amenities, and whatever's in your wildest dreams as amenities, this building has it. It's brand new, beautiful amenities. Everything was top-notch, professional, well-built, beautiful. The quality was there. And when we look at the maintenance fees, it had amongst the lowest maintenance fees that we've seen anywhere. And it was really easy to see that because we have seen other buildings, and there's some properties or some condos my client liked, but the maintenance fees were so high, kind of put him off from putting an offer on that unit, thinking these amenities, the maintenance fees is too high on this condo. But this one that I'm talking about, it was the opposite. They were so low. Now, naturally, my client, pretty excited. He has the potential to buy a unit that he really liked, has the potential to buy a unit at a huge discount from what the original purchaser bought it for from the builder. So buying it at a huge discount, plus maintenance fees that for those amenities seem like they're practically the lowest in the city. Here's where I kind of got to burst my client's bubble a little bit and say, listen, these maintenance fees, they are what they are right now, but they don't actually make sense being this low. When we look at other buildings, even with lesser amenities that are still newer buildings, maybe 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 years old, so still fairly new buildings with fewer amenities and not the quality that this building has, those other maintenance fees are much higher. Why would these maintenance fees be so low? Part of it could be it's the initial stages. They're artificially set at this price, but in a short period of time. I can't say for sure, but there's a really good chance you can expect these amenities to go way up quickly, because once the building gets established and every property, every condo in there has closed and management gets, a year or so behind them in running this place, you're going to see the maintenance fees coming into line with the rest of the city as to what kind of makes sense, because they are, it seems to me, artificially low. So I didn't talk him out of buying it, although that definitely put him off a bit. But I let him understand that you're buying it and you're excited based on where they are now. But just keep in mind, don't be surprised if these things, the maintenance fees, move up very quickly over the next short period of time. And so this is what you got to watch out for, especially when it comes to buying condos. You can't get away from maintenance fees. It's something that is just part of life. It's like putting gas in your car, or, I was going to say every car needs gas. No, some of them are electric now. But you get my point. You have to pay maintenance fees. You can't get away from it. Are the maintenance fees reasonable? And whatever they are today, understand, they're going to go up. They're going to go up because costs are going up. Labor costs more, materials cost more, everything costs more. We have inflation. So maintenance fees over time will absolutely go up. But if they're set artificially low to begin with, they're going to go up quicker, faster. It's just something you got to know and decide if you're cool with that or not. If you feel this video can help somebody you know, please pass it along. And if you get value from what we're talking about, subscribe. Now, let's get into the numbers. Here we go, folks. Condos, we are looking at everything to do with condo apartments, all the data for City of Toronto, York region, and Peel region. Here's average sold prices for 3 months. Now, the spacing here, Toronto, York region, Peel region, that's almost always the way it is. Toronto, most expensive, Peel region, least expensive. And the average, the difference between average prices between Peel region and City of Toronto, $156,000. City of Toronto, for week ending November 26th, 180 condo apartments were sold. 14 of those sold at $1 million or more. Now we're looking at sales. At this time of the year, now that we're into December, although that's for week ending November 26th, but basically the end of November, December, headed towards the end of the year, we normally see, as we saw last year, sales trending down to the end of the year. We're not really seeing that right now. 180 were sold, and if we look back going to the beginning of August, the end of July, beginning of August, there's only 1 week that actually did more, 181. So 180, 181 are our two most productive weeks as far as sales go, going back to the beginning of August. Sales don't seem like they're trending down. Average sold price over the span of the fall period, I would say it's pretty flat. Sure, has its peaks and valleys, but overall pretty flat. Currently sitting at 678,000. 678 is 1% higher than the same week a year ago. That was the same percentage the previous week. Compared to last year, the median price of 575 is 7% lower. The dotted line, the 4-week moving average for both average price and median price, pretty flat. 180 were sold. 30 of them, so 17% of condos that sold at list price or more. Listings, we're seeing fewer listings. Active listings, we're also seeing fewer, not that much fewer, but they're fewer. And as a percentage of all active condo listings, and there's currently 5,134 available condos for sale. 180 were sold, but there's actually 5,134 for sale. Basically, we're saying that 3.5% of all available condos actually sold. Only 3.5%. Months of inventory, a little lower, sitting at 6.6 months of inventory. Still very much a buyer's market. And that's the whole city of Toronto. If we break the city down into 9 different sections, and we're saying the whole city is at 6.6 months of inventory, except for 1 or 2 areas, it's pretty much pretty even. I mean, you've got East York, Riverdale at 3.7 months of inventory, but that area is not really known for its volume of condos. So there's not that many condos. There's only 10 sold, but it's 3.7 months of inventory. Lots of condos in Scarborough, 6.2 months of inventory, and the whole city is 6.6. High Park, Parkdale, especially when we go south, but there are quite a few condos there, 5.3 months of inventory. Etobicoke, tons of condos, a little bit higher than the overall average at 8.5 months of inventory. Then you got downtown, midtown, and uptown. We'll start with the top here, 8.2 months of inventory. Midtown, also 8.2 months of inventory. Downtown, surprisingly, 5.9 months of inventory, better than the overall city average. Normally, it's the other way, where downtown has the worst months of inventory, the worst percentage of sales, but it's actually picking up a little bit downtown. One bedroom condos, let's look at that. One bedrooms versus two bedrooms. Now, the one bedroom and the two bedroom include one bedroom plus den and two bedroom plus den. So the one bedroom for week ending November 26th, 79 of those sold. Average sold price is $529,000. Average sold price is trending down. 6.3 is the months of inventory. Compared to last year, 529 is 7% lower. Here's the two bedroom condos, 85 sold. Average sold price $770,000. Also trending down. 6.4 months of inventory. So not a big difference in months of inventory. Compared to last year, 770,000 is 3% lower than the same week a year ago. And when we compare the two, one bedroom versus two bedroom, 6.3 months of inventory versus 6.4, not a big change. The difference in average sold price, though, is $241,000. That's a huge difference going from one bedroom to two bedroom. Sales, not a big difference in sales. Let's look at average sold prices based on square footage, so we could look at cost per square foot. The square foot range is what we see on the MLS, and the most sales in first place is the 7 to 799 square feet, where 30 sold, $588,000, with an average price per square foot between $736 to $840 per square foot. Now think about that. You hear lots of sales of $1,000, $1,200, $1,500 per square foot, especially if you're buying pre-construction. But the resale market, and many of these are newer condos, $730 to $840 per square foot. In second place, and it's only 3 sales lower, so it's pretty much the same, 6 to 699 square foot, 27 sold. And in third place, also not far off at 25, 8 to 899, and that's 821, 731 to 821 per square foot. There's nothing here at 1,000 square foot. Every now and then we'll see a range that kind of hits 1,000 square foot, but not that often. And you could see the sales that are breaking down. The smaller units here, 500 to 599, 24 sold. 1,000 to 1,200 square feet, 22 sold. So there's not a big, it's pretty much spread out through smaller and larger, not a big difference where one size is predominantly, overpowering the other as far as volume goes. Let's look at York Region condos. For week ending November 26, 34 sold. 2 of those sold at $1 million or more. Sales don't look like they're trending down. They're not that high to begin with, but they don't look like they're falling. Average sold price actually looks like it's trending down and falling. $593 is the average sold price. $593 is 5% lower than the same week a year ago. The median price of $562 is also 5% lower. The dotted line, the 4-week moving average, sure, average prices are trending down. 34 were sold, 18%, not a lot, sold at list price or more. We're seeing fewer listings. Active listings, we're seeing fewer, but it's not really coming down by that much. There's 1,003 available for sale. Months of inventory sitting at 6.8 months of inventory. Here's Peel Region. Only 16 condos were sold. Think about this for a second. Think of Peel Region, condos. the vast majority of these condos are being bought and sold in Mississauga. So think of Mississauga. Think of Square One area around Mississauga. Everywhere you look, tons of condos. Only 16 condos sold. One sold at $1 million or more. Average sold price, the lowest we've seen all year at $472,000. Average sold price trending down, especially since in the fall market it peaked up a little bit and now been going down. 472, it's 23% lower than the same week a year ago. The median price of 503 is 12% lower. 16 were sold, none sold at list price or more. 84 were listed. Active listings is trending down. Months of inventory way up there at 14.1 months of inventory. Here's a quick summary. Again, for the city of Toronto, not a big difference as months of inventory between one bed and two beds. But overall, you get an average of 6.6 months of inventory. York region 6.8, Peel region off the charts at 14.1. Depending on where you're shopping for condos in the GTA or where you're thinking of selling, you're going to experience either a buyer's market or, in Peel region, an extreme buyer's market. Thanks for watching. Have an awesome day.